Fusion Mobile, quality e-learning experience on the go.
Good day and welcome to Fusion Mobile e-learning class. My name is Fayomi Kende and this is English language. Today we are going to be looking at letter writing and specifically the formal letter writing. In our previous lessons we discussed informal letters and semi-formal letters and their as well as their features and how to write them. Now this is formal letter. What is a formal letter and how does it differ from the informal and the semi-formal letter writing? A formal letter writing or a formal letter is a letter written to somebody with whom the writer has no personal relationship. It is a business or an official letter. It is strictly impersonal. The formal letter is not addressed to the name of a person, but the title or designation of the person, e.g., the president, the vice president, minister, governor, chairman of local government, commissioner of police, etc. A formal letter is divided into the following parts as we have it on the board. We have the addresses. This includes the addresser's address and the addressee's address. That is the address of the writer of the letter and the address of the receiver. The address of the writer is written at the top right corner of the sheet or the paper that we are using, while the address of the receiver is written on the left hand side of the paper below the address of the writer. We should also take note that the address of the writer is inclusive of the date which the letter is written. After the addresses, we have the salutation. Then we have the title or heading. We have the introduction of the letter. We have the body of the letter in paragraphs. Then conclusion and concluding salutation. We are going to take a review of these features one after the other. Like we said earlier, the address of the writer appears at the top right corner of the paper with which we are writing the letter, and it includes the date as well. We already learned how to write the addresses, the block form or the normal small letters with the appropriate punctuations, the commas coming appropriately, and the full stop. The address of the addressee of the person we are writing to comes on the other line where the address of the writer ends, but it is written on the other side of the paper, that is the left side of the paper. Note that while writing the receiver's address, you should start with his or a title or designation and not his or her name. Also know that the examiner does not expect you to write the correct address of the receiver, but what can always pass as a standard address. Do not write the addresses in capital letters. For example, let us take a look at this address. We want to assume that this is our writing paper. The address of the person we are writing to comes at the top right corner of the paper here. We have this is a correct format of writing the addresses in the formal letter. The address of the writer appears on the top right corner, and the address of the receiver comes after it, but on the left side of the paper. After that, we have the title, or the salutation comes after the addresses. The salutation comes after the address, and it follows on the next line after the minister's or the vice president's address. The general salutation for formal letter is "Dear Sir," and we are going to have it here as "Dear Sir." The next item after the salutation will be the title. Formal letters must have title or topic, and this is written after the salutation. Title enables the receiver or the addressee to have a glimpse of what the body of the letter contains and to know what next to do with the letter, whether to send it to another department or not. It can be written out in two ways. You can write it using capital letters or small letters. Let us note that when we are using or writing the small letters, the heading must be underlined. But when we are using the capital letters, the heading must not be underlined. An example of heading may be written this way. Now I'm going to be using the small letter form so as to underline it. But when written in the capital letter, we don't underline. Let us take note of this. We have the title as "Problem Facing Agriculture" or "Problem Facing Security in Imo State." Problem facing security in Imo State. As you can see on the board, the heading is underlined because it is written in small cases. If it's written in capital cases, we do not underline it. The examiner will penalize you if you underline the title that is written in capital. Only when the title is written in small letters would you be expected to underline, as shown here on the board. In this case, each word begins with a capital letter except for prepositions and articles. The preposition "in" is written in small letter. Then we move to the introduction. In an introduction to a formal letter, you should start very politely, but always remember to be formal. The introduction should be able to give the reader what is expected in the body of the letter. You should remember that you are not to ask after the welfare of the family of the receiver. This is because you do not know him personally or intimately, and may therefore not know how or may not know much about his family or friends. If you write an introduction to a personality asking after the welfare of his children, when in fact he is still trying to get a child, the consequence is that he will automatically be indisposed to read your letter because of the unpleasant memories you have called up in him. In the introduction to the application for employment, the introductory paragraph should refer to the publication in which the job in question was advertised, and the following information will be expected, that is, where needed: age, sex, local government qualification, past work experience or experiences, language, state of health, referee, etc. Then we'll move to the body of the letter. The body of the letter is divided into paragraphs. At this stage, we should identify the problems facing agriculture, facing security just as we have it on the heading. The problems facing security in Imo State. Ensure that the paragraphs are linked to one another and that they contain one main point each and are well developed, with each sentence adding to the overall meaning of the paragraph. The conclusion of a formal letter, after you have stated the reasons why you wrote the letter, your conclusion should always be a reminder of what, or a summary of what the body of the letter are and your expectations. Then afterwards, you move to the concluding salutation. The concluding salutation of a formal letter is written as yours faithfully. Then comma. On no account must you write the F of faithfully in capital letter, after which you put your signature. Then your full name, that is your last name, your surname comes first, then your first name, and then your initial. This is a proper way, an appropriate way of writing the concluding salutation of a formal letter. Now we have come to the end of this session. A few questions are going to pop up on your screen now for you to attempt. If we have any difficulties in answering these questions correctly, let us rewind the video and take a look at them once again, or take a look at it once again. Good luck.